Hello, how are you? I'm Matthew, host of Truth from the Booth. Today, as we make our intentions known for a new month ahead, we get out of the Maritimes and up the highway to Northern Ontario. Another update from Nova Scotian Trevor Redmond, the fellow in yellow, who left Halifax last year at this time with the goal of running across Canada and reaching the West Coast. This is Trevor's fifth appearance on the talk radio show as we follow this journey across the country. Just so you know, Trevor has been battling the flu, but that didn't stop him from speaking with me on his birthday this past Wednesday evening. Enjoy this 35-minute conversation. Trevor, sorry to hear about the flu bug, but happy birthday all the same.
Oh, thank you. Well, I caught the flu. It was something I expect. We do catch bugs along the way. I did pretty good last year, in which I didn't have a bug at all. But just as I'm getting ready to head into the tougher parts of Northern Ontario, I get slammed with the flu. Just really on the edge of Lake Superior Provincial Park is where I was. And I'm like, I either sit it out for a day or two and try to burn this off, or take an offer to go back to somebody's place to recover here in Batchewana Bay. Fortunately, he did drive me back, and I've been here for a little over a week trying my best to recover. And where I think, for myself, the recovery is going to be on an hour-by-hour basis, it's really with this flu a day-to-day basis and improving somewhat daily.
So you are taking some meds?
Not necessarily. I'm not near a hospital here, so you can't just go down and check things out. And I haven't been desperate enough to take that drive into Sault Ste. Marie from here. I'm kind of in between Wawa and Sault Ste. Marie, where I'm at right now. Excuse me. So a lot of chicken soup.
Okay, so
a lot of chicken soup. So
okay, so
that kind of stuff.
Aside from dealing with the flu right now, you've been out on the road for over a year. How would you say your overall health is, and the diet? What kind of sleeping rotation are you getting at? What's your mental health like on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
Well, all in all, it's solid. It's solid. This is a little setback, a flu. It definitely will test you to see just how healthy you really think you are. But as it is, no, I'm feeling strong. I was up that and over that Montreal River Hill already, and I did it with ease. Quite a surprise to me that was not too much of an issue. So that gets me encouraged for what's to come, because I know there's some pretty good hills up along the way there. As for mental health, this is what really helps, is the exercise of just talking with people. Having that support along the way, the cheers. It is stressful. And certainly over the last week, very stressful. I want to be out there. I don't want the momentum to slow down. But then you get the encouragement and the understanding from people, and the allowance to be able to recover and heal. But boy, excuse me, a little over a week here at Andy's, and all the way back to Sault Ste. Marie, where when I arrived there, you're really not sure how things are and how you're going to be received. But boy, that whole day was something else, including at the end where they had in a room that was given to me complimentary a gift basket, and everything in that gift basket was yellow. And that's straight out from the hotel itself, the Days Inn in Sault Ste. Marie. I was in awe, and I was also in tears. So how's that for mental health? It'll pick you up. Wow is all I got to say about that one.
The time that you've been off the road this last week and a bit, how does that affect your physical strength when you're not out on the road being active?
I will not know until I'm on the road being active.
Okay.
And so that's a concern. Over the weekend, I was feeling a little bit better. And I said, okay, well, let's start moving those legs. Let's do some exercises. And it was too much, and I took a crash. And I started feeling sick again. So I wasn't ready for it. Right now, it's just rest until I feel solid. And then there's going to have to be some priming before I head back out the road.
So you're talking a few more days.
Illness. I also want to avoid injury.
Yes.
So that's what keeps you moving. Avoid the illness, avoid the injury, within certain degrees.
So you are doing the best that you can to make sure that you can continue on. How's your gear? How's the wagon been holding up? I know in previous conversations we've talked about, mishaps, wheels falling off, this and that happening, and depending on where you are, community helping you out. Are you still finding people who are helping you out as you move along the highway?
There's been 4 points on my journey where I needed physical replacement. And first it was a front fork that was busted in Newfoundland. And then another weld was required in Kingston. And then another time, just a little bit further down to around the Deseronto area where another weld was required. I am forgetting Oromocto as well. So there's been 5 times that car had to be welded up. The last time in Bracebridge, and they turned it up on its belly and they gave it a real go over. The thing is moving like a tank now, and so far so good. There's little spots where there's rust with the salt getting in, and I quickly clean that up and spray it down with spray paint to keep her going.
Is that something you designed, that wagon? Is that something you designed?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, wonderful.
I'm laughing at this because I even got to learn a little bit of AutoCAD in the process. When I built my trailer, and this is, as I said, a birthday today for me. Happy birthday, Trevor. But it's also an anniversary of when I walked across Canada. So back then, I built a trailer. And that trailer, I did a little mock-up. It was about 6-foot box on it by 2 feet by 3 feet, and then a roof on it. I did a little mock-up going 6-inch trailer by 2 inches by 3 inches, the box. And I made it out of Bristol board and put that together. So that's how I did my AutoCAD back then. But just before the journey, I wanted to see all 360 degrees on what I would require and if it would work and the functionality of it. And so I ended up going to AutoCAD, got a free download online, and went to it and designed it online. So, yeah, I did a little designing in it. For the base, though, this is where the problem was. It has occurred with all the welds. It was a bike trailer is what I used for a base because I figured it was the easiest way to do it and then just build upon it instead of building the whole thing together. Hindsight, I don't know if it was the right decision or the wrong decision. It might have worked a lot better if I would have put an aluminum base on it as well. So,
looking at the cart, a couple of things. You are pushing this down the highway. What's the weight that you're pushing? And have you had any near misses with vehicles coming towards you?
I'm going to answer both those questions with a no and a no. First off, no, I don't want to know how much it weighs. And second off, okay. No, I haven't had any near misses.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that's good to know.
And some people do come on when I'm doing my lives and they're going, you're going the wrong way, you shouldn't be doing that. I learned as a kid, even in school, to walk against traffic coming towards you so you can watch what they're doing and you have eyes on them. That's your best defense. So me watching traffic gauges just what they might be doing and doing wrong. That if I have to jump in the ditch, I jump in the ditch, but nothing like that has ever occurred.
Okay, good to know.
On this journey, no.
Now, we last spoke, I think it was last November. It's been 4 months, and at the time that we spoke, I was asking you, where did you think you were going to spend Christmas? I know we're here in the latter part of March, but how did you spend your Christmas, Trevor?
In Huntsville. There was a snowstorm then, and then a cold snap. So both of those kind of combined. By the time it got into clearing and ready to go, it was Christmas Eve. Now, I do have volunteers that worry about where I'm going to stay each night, and they're fighting throughout the day to try to find me a spot if I don't already have a spot. And I said to myself, you know what? Let's get the stress levels down this Christmas. Let's take Christmas off. So I just hunkered down, stayed there, waited out on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day, there was an offer at a local church for people who may be alone on Christmas to have a Christmas dinner, a turkey dinner and all that stuff. So I ended up spending time there and listened to a couple of guys play some music quite entertainingly, and enjoyed myself there. So it was a nice Christmas. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned individuals helping you out behind the scenes. I just want to give you an opportunity, as I have in the past, to use this platform to give a shout out to those that are helping you logistically mapping the areas that you're going. I mean, Canada is a very large geographical area, and you're not doing this by yourself. So just give a shout out who is helping you get from point A to point B safely. Here we are 12 months into this journey.
We say behind the scenes, but often they're on the scene. They're making things happen. As I'm doing a live, that's a live contact with them, as if they're right there with me, watching and cheering it on. Oh, even down to a fellow named Casper, who, when people ask, because it does get tiring when people keep asking, popping up for the first time, going, where are you? Where are you now? Where's this? And then Casper just listing my location helps a lot. Paul is there posting away along with Robin, trying to find places within communities on social media. Coltina's awesome along the way as well. She'll step in wherever needed. And Bernadette as well has been calling hotels, motels, and lining things up and making things easier. That combination is making things so possible, and I can't say enough. I love my team. I call them Team Houston, and I've let them know I'm about to head for the dark side of the moon.
Are you still making? Are you still making video content as well, like on TikTok and Instagram and other social media platforms?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I love doing it. This morning was a deer. I really like doing that. This is a school down around Toronto, Nova Scotia, elementary school, sent me birthday wishes. So their cheer led the start of my video, and that is posted on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
I did see that. Yes, I did see that this morning.
Oh, and it's just adorable, the little voices. Yeah.
Where are they from again? Sorry.
Around the Toronto, Nova Scotia area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did they know enough to reach out to you on social media as you're making this journey across? What's your connection to them?
The connection is to an adult that happens to be their teacher.
Okay.
And I do say this, and I've probably said it before in the past on some of these past interviews. If you reach a child that can remember, you'll have an adult that won't forget. And it's a little, the rules on schools. There was a video that they sent to me. There was a few hand waves as well at the end. When it comes to school, the rules about showing children on video like that, not permitted. But simply their voices was a way around it. And when the kids heard their own voices on that video that I did, the teacher said, very, very pleased. They were very thrilled to be part of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the stories and the incredible families that you have met in this 12-month journey. Can you just quickly share one of your favorite overnight stays at just a complete stranger's house who saw your story, knew you were coming to the community, and said, this guy here, this fellow in yellow, Trevor Redmond, he has to stay here tonight? What are some of the more memorable encounters that you've had with other Canadians?
Do you have one in particular yourself that you might know about?
No,
Because there's many.
Just give me something that's happened within the last month. One of your favorite encounters within the last 30 days, Trevor.
Well, I always say the best experience is the one that's most recent because it's the one that's most vivid. And as you called me earlier here tonight, I was in just towards the end of having some shepherd pie here at Andy's house in Batchwada. But this fella also, previous to pulling me in here, was carrying some of that weight out of my cart where he would have it in his truck. And 3 days I got to run with a lot less of the weight. I mean, a lot less of what I required. Just, I needed food, water for the day, not for the week. So he was able to carry all that and lots of other supplies. So that was quite memorable. But even that, over the last couple of weeks, having Tina at Twilight Resort have me in for a few nights again with bad weather was amazing. Gave me time to kind of go down near the shoreline and take some photos, which was just a thrill. And the fellow who hooked me up with her for the couple of nights was Michael, who was a archaeologist in the area in his 80s. Was thrilled just to sit and talk to him for a little bit and his past experiences. But it was just a swirl of people over the last couple of weeks that were involved in my journey. And again, including a lady who I stayed with their family when their kids were much, much younger. Her and her daughter came up because they had an engagement in Sudbury. When that finished, they went camping themselves along Lake Superior. And I found them, the last night as I was out in Agawa Bay, they actually camped with me for the night and left in the morning. So that was nice.
You do.
I can't just name one.
No, I know.
One ties into the next, and it just blends into just a beautiful, beautiful response from people along the way. And particularly Northern Ontario, there's very special moments have already been created, and I'm not to Wawa yet.
Yeah, no, it's just remarkable. And like, I know you do, the tech side of it, the video vlogs, but are you physically journaling? Do you have like a notebook where you pen to paper? Do you do that as well, Trevor?
I should. I should. Okay. I really should. I meant to. But it does get a little busy as it is. But back with my walk and my bike ride across Canada, it was journaled quite a bit.
Okay, let's. I want to give you the opportunity to, like, you've been out there for 12 months. You've been in so many different communities. And you've had many different platforms, like different radio stations, print. What is your message of mobility and health when you do stop into these different communities? What's the feedback, and are the interactions vary with the ages of people that you're interacting with?
See, to talk about health, mobility, recovery, we often isolate each one as separate issues between physical and mental. I'm trying to open that up, where they're all part of the same when it comes to healthcare. So it's very important to do that. And I've said this about physical injuries. They're easy to recognize. There they are. They're there. They can happen in an instant, or they can develop over time. And it's the same thing with mental health. Some of them, mental issues, severe trauma, emotional trauma can happen just like that. And then others, and often it happens over time. Both of these together in the recovery process takes exercise. And that's really what I'm out to promote. Exercising the mind, the body, the spirit, and having all those come together to solidify our health and also assist in other people's health. I'm a man of many sayings, but helping others to take steps starts with a helping hand. And that goes through every age group. I'm at a vantage point because I am middle-aged. I certainly am now. I'm starting to move towards the other side of middle-aged. I turned 54 today. But I do have today young children reaching out and getting excited for what I'm doing, in elementary school, under the age of 10. And then another lady who has given towards my cause just through, I believe it was GoFundMe, or it might have been more directly with an e-transfer. She's given quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, a lady who's 81. And that moves me. And even when I was on the streets of Halifax, one day I had a child that was the age of 4 that reached out to me as well as a lady that was 102. So I'm reaching quite the demographic out there.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I was just thinking what you are doing every time you stop. You are this ambassador, and you're just like you have these independent speaking engagements. You don't need to be in front of an auditorium. You can be. You're so recognizable.
You got me thinking.
You,
All the people I've met over the years that I've talked to, when I was back in Halifax, when I was back in Calgary, both places I lived, when I was out there on my walk across Canada, my bike ride across Canada, and now my run across Canada. All those people I've talked to directly, that's not an auditorium that I could fill. That would be a stadium.
oh, absolutely. You would be
And
talking tens of
amazing.
thousands of people.
To be able to reach and have people reach me in that manner is stunning.
And that's just like the physical one-on-one. This is not
That's
including
physical
who you're reaching.
one-on-one. That's not, right now who I might be reaching through you or other media sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one more thing before we take a break. What has, here it is, your birthday. You left on your birthday last year. What has Trevor Redmond learned about himself on the road in the last 12 months before we take a break? What have you learned about yourself, Trevor?
That I'm not quite the same person I've been. But I do have a little saying that goes along with that. And as I am celebrating today my anniversary of starting my walk across Canada between 2006 2007, when I reached the 5,000 kilometer mark, my brother asked me, well, you must really know yourself by now. Well, I guess. Well, you've experienced things. It must have changed you. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. Well, you must have found yourself by now. And I'm like, look, Chris, the moment I think I find myself in another place. And that does say on a daily basis the growth of who I am. I'm finding myself here where I am tonight. I'll find myself somewhere tomorrow. And I certainly found myself down the road between Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie and many, many kilometers before Sudbury. So, as the fellow in yellow's got a lot of saying. Discovering what makes you important will be your most important discovery.
I absolutely love speaking with the fellow in yellow, and we will continue the conversation right after the break. My name is Matthew. You are listening to Truth from the Booth on Folk Up Radio. We will be back right after this. Talk radio with a focus. Truth from the Booth. The intention to provide a brief glimpse into unique real-life situations. True stories, the good, the bad, and the unjust. Tens of thousands of listeners and hours of meaningful and relevant conversations. When you're ready to share your story, share it on Truth from the Booth, Saturdays and Sundays on Folk Up Radio.
Good day. You're listening to Truth from the Booth. I'm the fellow in yellow, and I'm here with Matt on Folk Up Radio.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get back into the second part of this. So a lot we talked about in the first part. We just learned what you have learned about yourself within the last 12 months. Here you are, Northern Ontario, with the flu. I know I've asked you this before, but what's the time frame to finish this latest endeavor, or are you still going to be out there doing this on your next birthday?
I will be out here doing it again on my next birthday.
Wow. Okay.
I'll be like, that's the way I feel. If I can't reach people with my feet, I'll reach them with my words. So if my feet fail me, let my words not. And but my feet seem to be still moving, so I'll keep them moving. I would really like to get out, and that's my focus, is get out onto Vancouver Island this year and run up that. And we'll see how the time frame is and what's coming up. Turn around and run right back.
And run right back.
People are asking me, they're already asking about my return. back in Halifax. And I said to them, if I get to the West Coast and I hear your words from all the way back in Nova Scotia, I'm coming back to you. And people do ask me, like, I don't like people asking when it's going to finish, when it's going to end. I don't want that too. As I'm approaching the Courage Highway, I think about Terry Fox. And I know for sure Terry did not want his run to end, nor would I want mine to. So I want things to carry on.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes you have to be the legacy. Sometimes you have to be your greatest hero. And what I want my legacy to be in this world is for every single person in this world to become their own greatest hero. What will truly make this world the best world that we can live in? Let's engage each other, let's get to it, and let's be our greatest heroes.
Well, I know that you are a hero to many just individuals that you have met along, and you are certainly an inspiration to me. It's just, Trevor, a remarkable story. We have been talking about you are taking a break, a week and a bit due to the flu.
Forced break.
Is that what's the longest consecutive days you've gone without being out on the road?
When I was in Ottawa, around the Ottawa, I was actually Montreal. I caught bad flu then. Maybe not this. That one might have been worse than what I had now. That definitely was 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks. St. Hyacinthe, Quebec is where I caught it, and my brother drove me back to his place in Ottawa to recover. I went from Ottawa back to just outside of Montreal and started up my walk across to finish my walk across Canada back in 2006. I basically coughed my way across Quebec, New Brunswick, and into Nova Scotia, and still moved along. I hope that's not going to be the case through Northern Ontario. Coughing up and down hills, it's hard enough on the abdominals to push that cart up and down those hills. I don't want any additive to that, so hopefully I'll be recovered by then. It's coming.
I don't think we could not have this conversation without talking about some of the Canadian winter conditions that you've probably endured. So let's talk about what have some of the scariest winter conditions have you faced where you're like, it's getting dark and I'm still out on the road? Have you ever been in a panic situation?
I try not to have myself in that situation. Mm-hmm. Although I did set out one morning, got up really early, got out before the sun rose, and I went at it just outside of Sault Ste. Marie here. And I come down a hill towards the first eyesight of Lake Superior. And a couple was standing off to the side of the road. She's been following me since Nova Scotia, and he's more of a recent follower, husband and wife. And I started talking to them as the snow was really starting to fall. And I'm like, they're like, well, you can stay at our place. I'm like, yeah, I really do want to get up the road. So I actually turned and headed about 100 meters down the road, realized I couldn't see 500 meters up the road. And I'm like, nope, you had the offer, take it, go back. So I stayed in their camper trailer for the night. So, as I told my volunteers, don't risk a whole entire journey to one day. So one of my other sayings, assess before distress. Really know what's going on.
Yes,
and
you've
you
mentioned
don't
that
want to
before.
face some of those conditions.
Yeah.
You don't want to face a snowstorm in the middle of a provincial park. There's nothing around unless you're going to really hunker down out of it. But then again, last year I was forced, not winter conditions, but to face high winds in the wreck house. High winds and snow, that's a no-no. You want to be in. So, yeah.
This is the last part of March. Do you think, here you are in Northern Ontario, you're moving west where the weather can tend to be a little bit better. Do you think that the worst of the winter is over as far as your journey is concerned?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I've become a skeptic when it comes to weather.
You must pay a lot of attention to the weather forecast, though. Like, what is your dependable weather service where you get your updates before you head out in the morning?
I would have to plug a network if I said that, if that's okay. My most reliable source I find is the Weather Network.
Okay, I use Environment Canada, so that's the one I know.
Yeah, it's I look through them. I go for second opinions, but I do find there's a little bit. Although here in Northern Ontario, I'm going to tell you, it's unpredictable, is what I found. Yeah, sort of. I know if it snows, it's going to turn cold. Because the way that the weather spins, if there's moisture coming in, it's pulling down the cold air behind it. So I've noticed that.
Okay, so you are...
Other than that, other predict-wise, especially getting on to Lake Superior, the weather is changing on a daily basis. Yeah. So that's going to be a huge challenge, because I'm going to be hitting spots where I don't have cell coverage, so I can't watch the weather as closely. Yeah, that's going to get really challenging.
When you're out there, do you mentally, physically know when you are about to hit a wall, or do you know enough to make sure that you don't get to that point? And
I know enough that when I start coming towards the wall, I get excited, because that pushes me through the wall.
Again, I really appreciate, this is the fifth time you've joined the show in the year that you've been out on the road, and it looks like we'll be having more conversations. But I want to ask, why has it taken you this long to get to Northern Ontario? Or are you exactly where you need to be in this moment, Trevor?
I'm exactly where I need to be in the moment.
Okay.
I'm not out to run across Canada as much as I am out to reach as many people as I can as I run across Canada. Under my circumstances, with all that has occurred, this is where I need to be. And you're going to see Ontario itself has been a very difficult province when it comes to the shoulders and road conditions. So that's greatly slowed me down. That said, I love Google Maps, because you can go and you can see the roadside and see those shoulders and judge what's up ahead. And it is going to get much better. So people are going to see me do a lot more kilometers. And through northwestern Ontario, right across the prairies, you're going to see me roar. So look for it. But part of that, if I also hear different kinds of roars coming from communities away from the highway, then you're going to see me do some detours that will make the journey longer. And it was glorious for me to go into southern Ontario, all the way down to Windsor and back. So not many people go that deep when they go across Canada. I did, because I have to stick to my objective to reach as many Canadians as I possibly can, with the objective to run around in the minds and imaginations of all Canadians. So that's important to me.
It's important to you, it's important to me, and it's important to all Canadians and everyone listening to this broadcast. Always appreciate your time, your energy, your laughter is contagious. I absolutely love having you as a guest. Please be safe. I hope you feel better soon. And when you do get back out on the highway, always make sure, as you do, that you make sure that you see the traffic coming towards you. I always like to make eye contact with the driver, Trevor.
Oh, so my eyes pierce their windshields at times, so that they don't pierce me in any other way. But okay. I will say this, I'm out here really to support health, the health care that we can give ourselves and the health care we can give others. And one of those important aspects that we really do need a helping hand on is the mental development, mental health. And this year, different than the last time I talked to you, I really am focusing on getting the support to grassroots mental health organizations in communities throughout Canada. And I'm doing that through a $1 a Day Foundation. So you can go to $1 a Day Foundation and say, hey, yeah, the fellow in yellow sent me your way. Or you can also donate to them online, which would be great, or to myself. You go to my website, thefellowinYellow.ca, or The Fellow in Yellow on GoFundMe. And when you do give $10 and over, I'll give you a kilometer of the journey. And that will also help to move me along. Anything above and beyond that, I've been given to $1 a Day Foundation. And what I have given this year towards them is $1 a day for a decade for January, $1 a day a decade for February, and even this month here, $1 a day for a decade in March. So, or as they like to say, $30 a day for the year. I'm covered. So I'd like that to continue throughout the year.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Trevor. Be safe, please.
I will, thank you.
All the stories he can tell. What a journey. So fun to check in with Trevor every so often. To you, wherever you are, this show is approaching its 1-year anniversary. This show today will put the audience listenership over 800,000 folks. I'm so grateful, but it's simple. I use this platform to tell stories and share stories. The stories of the unhoused, why this program started in the first place. I am currently in contact with street navigators in different communities, and when they find the time to pencil me in for a chat, I will then share that chat with you to educate you, all of us. Here in the Halifax Regional Municipality, they are gearing up for another summer with folks in tents throughout the HRM. You can follow my continued coverage of the housing crisis by following my live streaming show, In the Moment. Okay, my moments have expired for the day. I'm Matthew. Back to your Sunday soundtrack on Canada's #1 folk station, 99.9 FM Perth Andover, and folkedupradio.com.